What's up, my people? What's up, my homies? What's up, my friends? I'm Gnarly Vato, and these are Gnarly Times. Well, today I'm going to talk about work history. My history, and hopefully your history now. Especially youngsters need to get some history. Now that you're young, some skills. Well, I, right now, currently, I'm unemployed. Nah, I am. I do um, a lot of side work. Side work. You know, I remodel houses or landscaping or roofing, fences. Painting. Just a variety of jobs now. After COVID, or well, right before COVID, right? Was that 2020 happened? 2019 November, I was the last time I was doing metal roofs. I used to do metal roofs for about 5 years, right? And then I got all crazy, wild, drinking, and went to jail a few times. Well, I'd like, I ain't gonna go to work for a couple weeks because I need to get sober, try to get sober, And so I told my boss, I said, hey, I'm gonna take like 2, 3 weeks off. I'm getting wild. And so he's like, go ahead. I said, is it cool if I try to get some unemployment or something? He's like, go ahead. So that was the first time I ever got employment, right? And that was in November. So them two guys, well, the time I was off, one of these fools got a DUI and no one had license to drive. So, well, right here where we're at, right? So I had got a DUI, my other coworker got DUI, and now this new fool got DUI. So there's three of us. So he's like, hey, don't worry about coming back to work right now. We didn't work. We got no one with license. Crazy, huh? That's what alcohol drinking will do. So I was like, all right, whatever. He's like, just stay on unemployment for a while. So I was like, whatever. So November, right? Then March came. So, well, prior to this, I used to do steel buildings. I'm an iron worker by trade. I did that for like 10 years, from 20 to my 30s, and then from my early 30s, few years at it, off and on, and then I started doing metal roofs straight, right? Well, I've done metal roofs and steel buildings too in other states, North Dakota, Minnesota, Nebraska, Wyoming. I've been doing it in windy, like full throttle wind, dude. Crazy. Did it frozen, freezing your balls off in North Dakota. We had to grab one screw at a time with 2 pairs of gloves on. Crazy. In North Dakota, they have to thaw out the ground in order to dig it. So they'll bring like a hose and roll it come like an S or something, and thaw out the ground for like a week. Crazy. It's so cold over there, they put a heater on their car. It's wild. But anyways, when I used to, for the last 5 years or so, I was doing steel buildings. Pre-COVID, I was doing steel metal roofs. But then during COVID, right, when I was on unemployment, well, COVID hit, right, in March, April, May, June, my uncle hits me. I was like, hey, want to get a job? Want to do some remodel? I go, where? He's like, remodeling Safeways in the Bay Area. I was like, let's do it. So I went over there, right? I was doing that for like a good year, but I was working at night, and it was like, man, I can't be doing this, but the time I worked there, had a coworker. They're from my town, matter of fact, but they're white homeboys, right? And this fool I worked 2 nights in a row with, because we get back by 6 o'clock in the morning, and we would wait to get beer and go back to the hotel and drink in the morning. So it'd be like 10 of us barbecuing and shit. We'll go to sleep like 9, 10 in the morning. We get all drunk, wake up be at work by 8 o'clock at night. So we work all night. Well, when I worked with this fool, he, because I'm a ramble on. That's what I do. But I had got a car, right? And I needed a third light in the back. So this day, I'm telling you about this day. So I didn't want to drink because I was working in Concord and I had to drive to Walnut Creek. So I go, you know what? I'm gonna have one beer. So I drank one beer and these fools. I go, all right, I'll see you guys later. They're like, all right, whatever. And they're there chilling, drinking, laughing, smoking, joking. So I come back like 30 minutes later. I go, hey, no, like 10 minutes later. I go, hey, this homeboy, right? His name was Rick. I go, hey, Rick, because I had worked with him the last few days, so I drove in his car on the way home back. So, because we would drive from different Safeways. We're here, and we get like two, wherever the nearest Safeway's at, we try to bust two of them out. So you had like two crews, like 10 guys. So we had went from one we're working at and then to the other one. So anyways, I forgot my charger in his car. And I go, hey, Rick, can I get my charger in your car? I think I left it. He's like, what color is it? I said, it's gray. So we go look, right? Well, he's like, nah, it's not here. It wasn't there. So I go, all right, man, we'll see you later. Well, that was the last time I ever seen that fool, right? Well, because he died. Crazy. Well, anyways, let me tell you, continue, right? I don't want to ruin the story now, but I go back to my room, and because the place didn't open to get my light till 11. So I'm going to chill till 10, and then, because I didn't want to drink, because I drive, so I left, go in over the Walnut Creek, dude. I come back, and I'm getting them. They're like, hey, have you heard from the guys? I was like, nah. And they're like, I said, yeah, I seen them earlier, And he's like, oh, they said there's a bloody shirt on the side of the road in Antioch. Their work shirt, our work shirt. And I was like, what the heck? And he's like, go see and knock on the guy's room. So I went and knocked on all the homies' room, just the two, his nephew and this other fool. And there's 4 of his nephews working. The boss. So I go, and they're like around 30 years old and shit. And I go hit the lady up. I knocked on his door. Boom, boom, nothing. I hit the other homeboys. I said, because by the time, no, that was after. But I asked the lady. I said, hey, you think you can open the door and I can wake him up, see if he's in there? Right? This fool Rick, the one I just worked with last night, the prior night. And I go to the door. She opens the door. And I go in. And I go, Rick. And then I'm like, what the heck? He's not there. Then, boss called me again, like, hey, did you go check? And I was like, bro, his car's here, but no, he's not there. And anyways, eventually, I go outside, probably like 12 in the afternoon or so. And the other homeboys, because they were passed out, from drinking that morning. So we go outside. By then, I was going to drink a beer because I came back doing my thing. And the other homeboy the other nephew's like, bro, my cousin's gone. It was like heartbreaking, man. Because it was the time I was there with them. For 3 weeks, I worked with these guys. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, what? This guy too. But that night, I worked straight the whole 2 days, 2 nights with him, And it was just horrible, man. But it was on like a Tuesday, and I left that morning back over here, Wednesday morning, because we get off. You know what I'm saying? It happened Tuesday night or Tuesday morning. But I came back Wednesday after that last shift. He's like, where you go? I go, dude, I got to go see my family. But it was heartbreaking to see and that was my uncle's friend he grew up with, one of the best friends, from Porterville. And he would say, only alcoholics and drug addicts come out of Porterville. Which one are you? I said, I'm a drinker. But that real shit. Full millionaire, but he'd give fools jobs, but they didn't care. You know what I'm saying? Works there, but no one cares, Well, I worked for him, this company, remodeling Safeways, for like 10 months, I think it was. Almost a year, maybe. 11 months. And it was cool. I was making over 1,000 a week, you know. Boom, all the time. But I was like, man, I can't be doing this work in that town. I need to be around my kids, my family, you know. Because I've done a lot of work, and I used to live in Bakersfield, and I used to also work in LA, Anaheim. Stay in Anaheim, but work in LA. Because we get a cheaper discount in Anaheim. I call it Anaheim's, right? So I worked out there for like a year, doing out of the city, you know. So then I did that, and then when I was posted in Tulare County, I would be always traveling different all over the Tulare County doing steel buildings, you know, or dairies. I started doing dairies when I was like 18 years old. All I did was screw. No, carry first. Carry shit. You know? Carry sheets. Metal. Long ones too. Long as a truck bed. Sometimes you slip on them. But we throw dirt because they get oily. Right? So we do that. I did that for a while, me and my brother. Then like I said, I just kept doing steel building. I framed houses for like, I did steel building for 18, couple years, and then I went to framing. So I used to do framing for carrying studs. I started carrying studs for $7 an hour. Dude, I wanted to quit. But I was on parole, you know, and you had to get like a job history, work history. And a lot of times only construction will take you, like, hey, come on, cállate. Right? But also, I also did roofing, regular composition roof. I used to walk from the overpass by Chaguitos, you know, walking. So I did that for a little minute. But, you know, yeah, just a bunch of variety stuff. But now I work, I can put in windows, doors. I'm not too much of a stucco guy, but drywall, you know what I'm saying? Countertops, sinks, just a bunch of stuff. I'm not the best tile guy, but I could do it. Right? So I just do man work guy. Right? But no, I know how to use a skill saw. Oh, I got tools. My daughter's like, she's like, Dad, you're like one of the guys that I go need someone needs something, they go and ask you, you know, for a tool, and you got it. I tried to, right? And then I refurbish furniture. I'll find where I'm at. They leave stuff out on the road. They got money out here, so they leave stuff out in front of their house for free. They call it curb alert, right? So half my stuff I got cherry. Was missing a screw or screw loose in, need wood glue. I'll take it apart, redo it, good as new. Maybe slap some paint on. Like everything I've literally got, I redid it. People wanted it or I sold it. My daughter's like, I want that. My wife's like, we're keeping that. I'm like, all right, let's do it. But I make things out of metal, not welding, but I cut things out, you know, with metal snips, and I can do anything with metal. I can shape it and form it. You know, wood, I'm good at routering and jigsaws and grinding with cutting wheel. I can use cutting wheel like a damn scissors, dude. You know, skill saws, chainsaws. Nah, not chainsaw. I'm not too much of that, but I can use it. I'm not the best. But anything with construction tools. Drive forklifts, you know, man lifts, scissor lifts. No cranes, nothing like that. You know, but that's just kind of the work history I got, and it's just crazy. But I just want to tell the youngsters out there who don't got no work history, sometimes you just got to start at the bottom, you know, work your way up. Like when I was starting framing houses, I started carrying studs, and then the dude told me, you stay with me, in 2.5 years you'll be running your own company, your own crew. I was like, okay. You know what I'm saying? And at that time too, I had another coworker die. He got hit behind on Kansas Road in Lemoore, Stratford. You know, and that the last time I seen him too, I was messing with his name was Richard, and he was in prison. Did 13 years. He was out almost a year, and I didn't see him for like 2 months because we used to bounce around different cities in the valley, and we're in Kalinga, right? So I had seen him, and he's like, "Hey, Rich." I just call him Dick. "What's up, Dick?" And he'd be like, "No, you don't call me Head." Nah. But I was bullshitting with him that whole day, right? They're on a 2-story, right next to each other. So I used to bust his balls all the time, messing with him. So they ended up splitting, all right, like, "All right, see you guys later." And then him and this fool Uncle Larry, right, the boss's uncle. So these fools were on their way from, Kansas and hit by Corcoran or the other way. Well, we used to hit behind Stratford, drinking, smoking weed, and we're going, got beer, and we're going through the back, dude, and we get a call from these homeboys that are from Poplar, like, "Hey, Uncle Larry and Rick got in a wreck," but they got in a T-bone by a drunk driver out there. 4 people died. 5 people died. No, 4 people died. Richard, some 19-year-old who's pregnant, and some like 10-year-old kid. It hit him, Uncle Larry and Rich. But they said this fool Richard, they go to him like, Richard, are you okay?" And they said Richard looked at him, dead. It was just horrible. I ended up working like a week later, 2 weeks, and I told my boss after Richard's funeral, I go, "Dude, I'm gonna give you my 2 weeks notice." I said, "I can't do this no more. I'm gonna risk my life for like $13, $14. I don't know what it was, but I had to feed my family because I was a parolee, You just take what you could get." So he looked at me and go, "Take all your homeboys with you. They're fired." I was like, Why? But I ended up going to do steel buildings. That's when I started doing steel buildings. And I was like, again, like 24. Because they had fired me off in the beginning. I thought, well, I'll just work local. Because I used to travel around working. But I'm pretty creative. I can make a lot of stuff. You give me a pile of junk, I'll build something out of it. Like, what do you want? Chicken coop? What do you want? A bench? Nah. Let's do it. Give me it. Nah. But yeah, I love to do something with my hands. I got all kinds of shit I made. And because when I'm gone, they'll be like, "My dad made that." Or, this and that. There'll be memories. That's how I feel. Because that's why I kind of learned it from my uncle Sergio, who passed on. Because he used to build things. So when he died, all these things he made, I remember he gave me some, and I forgot it. I should have took it then. And I told him, "Hey, can I get what Sergio made?" They're like, "No." I was like, "He made it for me." "No, he didn't." So I was like, well, all right, whatever. But anyways, that's why I make things, because people, what's called, as a memory when I'm gone. And if my wife chooses to give some to my family, I hope so. But even my family, I make them stuff too. But anyways, I'm Gnarly Vato, and these are one of the gnarliest times in my life and the history and job, jobs I've done around the country and California. You know what I'm saying? But those who ain't got no job history and no skills, get up on it and learn it, dude, and build something, build a future. It's getting hot in here, and I'm out. Stay out of trouble.